detectives look at it, but they're bombarded. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take all that stuff away from the detectives in the precinct. They're going to focus on robberies, burglaries, and auto theft. That's it. Accountability and fine. Remember that. Accountability and fine, right? Burglaries, robberies, and auto theft. That's all those detectives are going to focus on. Those 6 detectives in the precinct. So the officers, right? The officers. I've got to get them more engaged. So now, if I'm the officer that responds, and I take that report of a drone came down, looked in my car, right? I did that report. I'm now the detective of that case, and I'm accountable to you. I'm going to give you my card, I'm going to give you my number, I'm going to find out where you live, and I'm going to be touching base back with you. I'm going to take ownership of that. I've got to get the 200 officers I've got right around in the city, right, that see things, to take ownership of it. I think they want to do that. Right now, the structure that we have is they write a report and it goes to somebody else to investigate. I'm going to empower them, right? Instead of having 5 guys investigating crimes in a precinct, I'm going to have close to 80. That's very, very different. And then when we come in to have that ComStat or that intel meeting, and they talk to me about crime, and I ask, whose area is that? Well, that's Drew's area. Well, Drew's got larcenies. What's Drew doing? So it's not just asking the captain and the lieutenant and the sergeant of the ship. I'm going to be asking the officer that patrols that neighborhood. So if I'm the officer and I'm getting asked that question, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to own that neighborhood. I ain't having the chief or one of these assistant chiefs ask me what crime's on my beat, right? It might be up in her beat, but I'm going to own my area. I'm going to take ownership of it. Follow me? So it's about taking accountability. So that's one of the things I want to do. It kind of plays into what you were saying as well. Somebody over, yes, ma'am. You've been sitting so quiet.
Me?
Yes, ma'am. You've been very, very quiet. This is good.
Well, I'm not sure if you noticed, but when you came up here, I had a tear in my eye. I sat here a few weeks ago and spoke at my little brother's funeral about your police department. Of the 18 homicides in Newport News, and excuse me if I crack up,
It's okay.
my baby brother was one of those 18 homicides. And I'm angry. I'm furious right now. That's my baby brother. Your detective, your officers have been amazing in everything that we're doing, and I'm praying we get answers soon. But I can't be the only one that's angry. Where's the rest of our young people? How do we get them involved? How do we prevent this? How do we take that anger for deer and things like that? Nothing against deer, you guys, I'm sorry. But how do we take that and put that towards our human lives right now? I had to plan a funeral for my baby brother and bury him. How do we stop that? How do we reach out to our youth and let them know we care about them? But at the same time, we're angry. I'm angry. I had to go to the doctor today because I've lost 15 pounds in a month. I need everyone else to be angry about this, and how do we get our youth involved in that? I understand the schools
No, you're good.
and all of that, but at the same time, it hurts, and it hurts so bad. This is my city. This is where I do business at.
Wow.
This is where I live at. And to get a call that I need to come ID my little brother's body, he's not that type of person. How do we get our youth so this doesn't happen again?
Wow. I'm not sure how to answer that. First, let me say I'm sorry for your loss. So, her question was how do we stop violence? She was really kind of directing at youth in this city. She's exactly right. Exactly right. When I look at the report of several individuals that haven't shot someone but have firearms in their possession, they're youth. When I see correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Moore's in the back, but I believe there was an individual that did 3 robberies within like an hour and a half, starting at 5, 6, 7 in the morning. He was arrested with a firearm. He's 15, 16, 17 years old. What's he doing? So I think there's 3 ways. I think one is interaction. Some of it is the environment that kids grow up in. It's all they see, that's all they know. They struggle, condensed poverty, there's issues there, right? They're mad, they're lashing out. I think that some of it, we've got to interact with those youth. One of the things when I have this unit, that's what they're going to be tasked with. In the school year, they're in school, some programs in the evening. We're going to facilitate some of those programs, and we're going to interact with kids in the summer. Probably 100 to 120. But that's not all kids in Newport News. So that's one thing. 2, I think that all of us in this city, exactly what you said, have got to get fed up with the violence in this city and ask ourselves, should have been after the first homicide of this city or the last one of last year. But I will tell you this. I firmly believe, the guys give me a hard time about it, but I think we have a lot of good momentum in this city. People are calling Aqua Vista, an individual shot in the neck, life-threatening. He was arrested within a day and a half. The roadside cafe, I'm going to miss it, roadside cafe, or call it Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse Cafe, whatever that bar is on Jefferson Avenue, right? Individual shot, he was identified and arrested within 48 hours. That shooting up at Denby and Warwick at the intersection of Strip Mall where people are shopping, right? All kinds of kids up there, families. Officer gets to the scene, he's bandaging the guy's hand up, that's shot in the hand. And a citizen within 15 minutes called and said, hey, that guy you're helping, he's one of the shooters, and he threw the gun in the trash can of the dumpster. That's what I'm talking about. When I've got a female shot in the trailer park, she's shot in the chest, life-threatening injuries, a bullet grazes her head, and the detectives put so much pressure hunting this individual down that his father brings him in and turns him in the next day. That's the stuff I'm talking about. When we have finally had enough, we can reduce crime in the city. There is evil in this world. Make no mistake. There are some people here that want to hurt people, right? That's only going to be fixed when we get one place. There is some evil in this world, but we can greatly reduce it. I think programs plays a part. I think interaction plays a part. But at the end of the day, and when I talk about being much more proactive against violent crime in the city, you are going to see a difference. You are going to feel a difference. It is going to be much more proactive, and it's going to happen much, much quicker. And there will be, hear me clearly, there will be individuals. Why did you stop me? Why did you stop my car? Why are you in this neighborhood? We hear this term sometimes over policing. I'll deal with that. We're going to treat people fairly in the city. Don't get me wrong. We are going to treat citizens with respect. But the criminal element is going to feel the heat in this city. I'm tired of citizens being afraid in the neighborhoods that they live in. And it is time for the individuals wreaking havoc in those neighborhoods to fear the police. And they should fear the citizens in the neighborhoods that they're preying on. I am very sorry for your loss. You speak volumes being here, and I wish to God I had a better answer, and I don't. But I thank you for taking time out of your day to come here. Thank you. Way in the back, Madam Producer. Yes, ma'am. Didn't I see you earlier today at the library?
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
I put gas in my car and I said, if you say one more word about dinner, I'm going to have an explosion. It's costly to get this. I spoke to you the first day, so there's two things real quick. I'm going to be concise. Number one, you constantly say we're going to engage the youth. This is the first city I've lived in. I've lived in Canada, England, I was born there, Seattle, everywhere. There's nothing for them to do. There's no activities. It's too fragmented. The Parks and Rec and the different programs haven't established places to go. So what are you going to do but go steal a car? Because you've got youth energy. And I understand it's sometimes about $140,000 to incarcerate one youth. In some cities, you have 1% of monies for construction going for arts. Is it possible to take 1% of the money that we putting one person in jail to create units where they can be involved in productive activities? If that could be an initiative with Parks and Rec and different programs. I have a child in my neighborhood. He comes home, he's a latchkey with his younger brother. He just spends every day in front of a TV. At 15, when his mother can no longer control him, what's his options? There's nothing going on. So that's number one.
That was a long, let me address number one for you, good enough to. That was a long question. I don't want to forget it.
Oh, it's a suggestion, actually.
All right, so number one,
Yeah.
I would debate you on that there isn't anything in this city for these kids to do. Because the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, have been knocking down my doors. I've got church groups that are doing with kids. We're interacting with kids. We've got summer programs. There's all kinds of step program. There's a lot to do with kids, right?
Church program.
Sure. There's a lot going on with kids. So I understand. I've only got 450 officers, right? And I'm with you. And I will save any kid that I have an opportunity to do that. But I will also tell you this. It is not an excuse, because I have nothing to do, that I'm going to pick up a firearm and go start shooting rounds up and down the street inside people's buildings. I got a buddy of mine that's 10 years old that can't keep his head straight because kids wanted to shoot at each other. There's a buddy of mine down in 35th and Roanoke that can show me where the round went through his kitchen, into his head, and stuck in his hallway wall. And I spent 30 minutes with that young man, and he's scared to live in his neighborhood. You know what? That was of kids shooting at each other because they're mad at each other. Those kids that are on that line, if they want help, there are resources here. We can always do better. But there are kids that we are arresting over and over and over with firearms that have been shot multiple times and choose that lifestyle. When I talk about evil in this world, that's some of the evil that I'm talking about. Go ahead with the success. I don't want to get debate, but go ahead with this. Okay. That's good. Suggest.
The interesting thing is that's the response I got the first time when I said that we need to have.
I know you didn't like it then either. It's okay.
Just for a second. There needs to be a rapport that your reality is beautiful. Mine is just as valid. And I
No
don't
doubt.
like being dismissed every time I bring up these issues.
I'm not dismissing you, ma'am, but I'm not debating
But
it.
I'm not debating. I'm saying we need to address the reality that I bring to the table. Yours is wonderful. Most of the Boys and Girls Clubs are just holding pens with no activities. I have children in the East End that are going for that. Most of the YMWCA places, you can play basketball, but there's no programming, there's no development. There is a need for change. I'm on board to help with that change. I don't want to be discounted or dismissed.
You're not being.
But it's not just violence that's an issue in this city, but the lack of an infrastructure for the young people and the adults to grow.
I'm with you, and I'm not discounting you, and I wasn't saying either. But what I'm saying to you is, what I'm saying to you is, I'm standing here in a police uniform, and I can control 450 individuals and another 120 civilians. You're exactly right. But I don't control the YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club. I don't control social services and human services. What I'm telling you is what we can bring to the table. I would love to see more resources. I think that our city council does a good job of trying to wrap that stuff together. But a lot of it starts at home too, right? I'd like to see our schools do that. Right? I'm not just telling anything you're saying. I'm talking to you. All I can speak on, my reality is policing. And what I'm getting called at 2 in the morning, and talking to people that sit in these pews, and I think you have very valid points, but I can only control what I can control. I'm not just counting you, I'm just saying what I'm controlling. I worked at Interactive with those Boys and Girls Club. I think they do a phenomenal job. If they weren't here, I think we'd be worse than we are now. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to
I forgot you. I'm coming back.
I would like to say we can blame, I mean, it's not all the police officers' fault, what's going on here. A lot of the problem with the young people today, there's no discipline. Okay, and it starts at home, and it's lacking at home. And I have children who teachers, I know what's going on in school, here or in different states. So, and we have a lot of people who have more kids that can handle. We have a lot of young people who have all these kids they shouldn't have, because if you can handle all these children, don't have them. Maybe they never heard of birth control, I don't know what's going on. But we need more discipline at home, that's what starts.
See, I'm not going to address birth control either, because that's not my issue.
I mean, it starts at home.
No.
We have to do our job. But
Yeah.
children now, nobody wants to be responsible. They get away with everything. If my kid would come home and do that, I'd eat him black and purple. Then they could call the police, and then they could take the kid wet or keep him. But no,
No, I understand.
kids know what they can do.
And let me say this for my friend in the back. I know she's getting ready to leave, but I want to say this. I am going to initiate programs in the schools. I think that we arrest too many juveniles on things we don't need to arrest them for.
Yes.
And she might know better than me, but I think that if you are arrested and you go to juvenile court, I believe it's like 60 or 70% more often that you will reoffend once you're in there. So I don't need to be arresting kids in school for being disorderly or turning a desk over, right? I got kids that I grew up with. My daughter might turn the desk over me once or twice. She gets mad. I didn't arrest her, right? I still love her. So the things I'm talking about are street level violence. The programs you're talking about and stuff at home and the ways that we interact. And I think we can do more diversion. I think we can talk, a lot about not anger management. What's the word I'm looking for? When people are upset with each other, conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. One of the things I'm going to try to push is that we bring the kids in and we sit down and talk them through. Right? Same thing if we stop a kid and they complain about the traffic stop. Right? Sometimes it's just we don't understand why that 17-year-old acted that way, and that 17-year-old doesn't understand why I acted that way. So if I can bring 2 people and sit down, I tried this in Richmond. I had about 3 worked, 1 didn't, but 3 did. And the young man said, why did you shine a flashlight in the car? And the officer said, because we'd had reports of shooting in the neighborhood. It's a high crime area, and it's nighttime, so I'm shining the car for my safety. You know what? The tension just dropped, and these guys had a conversation and shook hands. There's things we can do, right? There's things we can do. Sir?
Do Chief, good evening. My name is Robert Yancey, and on behalf of my neighbors, first I'd like to welcome you and your family to Newport News.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you all enjoy our native, haven't kicked me out yet. I'm very proud of the city, so I think you'll enjoy living here.
Very much.
Second, I would like to thank you and your staff and city manager for hosting these events. I think they're important ways for you to get to know the community get to know you, and establish trust.
Thank you.
And faith. You've asked for suggestions. Mine is a two-part suggestion. The first part you're going to be completely familiar with, and I'm telling you, you don't know and haven't confronted in the past. But I will use two anecdotes. The issue is obviously having sufficient resources to address all the challenges that your department faces. Colin Powell, when he was chief of staff, or chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in the first Gulf War, his strategy was simple. We will absolutely overwhelm the enemy, and it has the effect of lessening the conflict, reducing the time, reducing the carnage, reducing the cost. And so you have to bring those resources to bear. The second example is from one of your predecessors, George Cordella, who I know very well. His approach was he said to flood the streets with officers. And I can recall my office was in Denby, I drive to Highwood, and then 20 minutes when he was chief of police, I would see 5, 6, 7 police cars go by, so it improved my driving quality. Security, and most importantly, those who wish to offend perhaps thought twice about it. You understand all those things. The larger issue is you have a delicate position of not being able to go outside. Your chance to manage, say, the city manager, with a tight budget and a lot of constraints, we need more money. But there needs to be a mechanism in place at a citizen, grassroots level, sponsored by Councilman Gibbons, who say, if we want to be safe in the city, common sense, experience, teaching, all tells us we've got to have resources sufficient. We cannot take some people call it the salt shaker approach. There's a problem here, so sprinkle some resources. The problem arises here, we shift the resources here, and at the end of the day, when nothing really gets solved, you simply respond to people and say, well, we did something. I'm not suggesting that's the problem's approach. But to be able to say we really have resources, and top of the list of things that are important to the citizens in this room, the citizens of all the cities, this entire city, is public safety. The number one responsibility for a city and the city government is to keep people safe in terms of schools. I hate to say that as much as I believe in schools and their need for resources, in terms of that infrastructure, roads, and all those kinds of things. So there needs to be a mechanism, and you don't have to put on your cap and say, how do we get a group of energized people and important policy makers to say we need more resources? They come at the expense of greater taxes, they come at the expense of having to reduce other parts of the budget. But at the end of the day, if we're going to truly address this in a responsible fashion as adults, that's what's required. I'll stop.
I appreciate
Stop
that.
the sermon, but that's the time.
Let me say this. All you officers back there are fired. I told you, the city manager walked back in the door, I'm supposed to give a signal. Right? Everyone in there are fired. No, let me say this. I believe, where I sit, that I have, and I've been here like 2.5 months, I feel like I have a phenomenal relationship with the city manager and assistant city manager. We talk. I was on the phone, regrettably, talking to her about 7 o'clock this morning about our homicide. She gets calls on those, just like Mr. Archer does. We talk about those issues. We talk about, and she asked me the question you just asked me. What else do you need? How can I help you? What resources? I have to say the same thing. I don't know if you've seen the community walks that we have. We don't just walk in neighborhoods to walk in, right? Those neighborhoods that we go out are places where we've had issues, or that we have had issues and want to prevent it. And I am overwhelmed when city council come out and walk with us, when the fire department. I've got a heroin epidemic in this city, right? Like I do up and down the East Coast. And I don't know, Eric, I'd say close to 150 officers and citizens, and fire department, councilmen walking with us in the southeast community, and health officials. So when I can only talk about what I do, isn't it? That's the stuff I'm talking about, bringing those. And I'm getting civilians in my department that want to come out and walk those walks. So, the salt shaker thing, you're exactly right. I cannot just chase crime this way. Where's the shooting, where's the robbery, where's the burglary, and move resources like that. I have got to own something, move from that, Colin Powell, right? Own something, move from that, and leave a maintenance phase in place. So what is that? How does that look? That's exactly how we're going to run those CompStat meetings. What is the problem with neighborhood X? Here's the issues. Here's what my goal is to reduce crime, in effect, maybe heroin overdoses. I had 5 last month I know it's still 2, but I'm reducing, right? Here are my strategies. A, B, here's what I want narcotics to do. Here's what I'm going to do in the precinct. Here's what I want canine to do. Here's what I want the motorcycle guys to do. Here's what I want community and youth to do, right? We come in, you see us, here's what I'm going to do covertly, overtly. Here's how I'm going to do traffic enforcement. It's a holistic approach. Then I'm going to come in and work with the youth in that city too, right? In that city, that community, that neighborhood. And I started planting neighborhood watch. I find citizens. I find a citizen that might be a family member of a homicide victim. And she's my champion, right? Maybe I ask my new best friend to come and talk to my 25 recruits that are sitting in my academy. Because it's one thing for me to talk about how homicide affects this city. What if she did it? Right? Those are important things. But here's the other thing. Those citizens that live in that neighborhood, I've got to build their trust. I've got to have them buy into me. So when they call, then I'm not waiting around 3 weeks and nothing's happened. They just sit officers there. When they call, we're responding. We may not get anything. If she tells me that the red door by the big blue tree is the one that has drugs in it, and I go knock on that door and get nothing, what have I at least done? I've been responsive, and I've showed her that your complaint matters to me, right? If I do nothing but watch it, why should she call me the next time, right? It's got to be transparent. And we talk over and over and over. I've got to get more citizens involved, but I've got to win those citizens over. That's my job. That's our job. But when that happens, good things happen. But you're right. We're going to own something and branch. But as far as finance and that, I'm asked all the time by the city manager and council, what do you have? I feel like I have a good relationship, and I'm asked, what do you need? I never have to go and say, hey, I need this. It's, what do you need? What else can we do? In the far back. I think, did you have your hand up? Right, no, all the way back in. Yes, ma'am. 1 second. No. Nope. Right back there. Yes, ma'am. You got to speak loud, though. I got you.